bundt cake. It's a nice type of way of making a cake, and I've got some carrot cake mix I'm going to use to make up a cake in a bundt cake pan using the Emeril Lagasse Power Air Fryer 360 XL. I'm Darnell with Wave Oven Recipes, and let's get started on that cake right now. Alright, so I've got my ingredients here, and I want to say, although I'm doing this in the Emeril Lagasse Power Air Fryer 360 XL, you can do the same with other similar types of cookers, the same type of setup and cook, as long as you can fit the bundt pan in the cooker that you're using. And so I've got myself a box of Duncan Hines Super Moist carrot cake mix, and there's pudding in the mix is what they say. I've got myself 2/3 cups of canola oil, 3 large eggs over here, and got myself some cooking spray. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to turn the cooker to bake. So now that it's on bake, turn it up to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. They say for a bundt pan, do 41 to 46 minutes, just to ensure it has sufficient time, although I don't think it'll take this long. Set it to 45 minutes cooking time, and hitting start. I've got a pizza rack on that bake level down there in the cooker that's used for baking. I'm going to go ahead and spray up this bundt cake pan with some cooking spray to make it very non-stick, even though it already is a non-stick bundt pan to begin with. Let's give it a little more non-stickness, and if that's a word. Going to go ahead and get my cake mix open here and put that into the bowl. Pour my cake mix in. Gonna go ahead and just throw my eggs on in there and toss my oil on into the mix. Now we're supposed to beat this up for a couple minutes at medium. Alright, so I got that all beaten up, and it got really thick and rich as I was beating it up. So I'm going to just go ahead and try and get it all into my bundt pan now. Alright, so I got all the mix out. I'm going to smooth this out in the pan a little bit, but one thing I forgot to do when I first was warming it up, it's already reached temp, but one thing I forgot to do was to turn the air fryer fan off. When you're baking, you definitely don't want the air fryer fan on, or your top will definitely overcook. If you keep that air fryer fan off, you probably can do most things you'll bake without needing to cover them with anything on top to prevent the top burning at all usually. So I'm just kind of smoothing it out just a little bit on top, just a tiny bit. But the mix came out very, very thick. And so I'm going to go ahead and hit pause, turn it back to my full 45 minutes, stick my bundt pan on in, and going to make sure it's in there well, and then close up and hit start. Keep an eye on things, and I'll bring you back in a bit. Alright, I just realized something. I had to get the cake pan out, or the bundt pan out. I just realized that I forgot to add the cup of water. That's why it was so thick and rich coming out of the mix. It was no water that I didn't put in there. There was no water. So I've basically pulled it out, thrown a cup of water in here, and I'm seeing if I can salvage my carrot cake now, and I believe I may be able to salvage it, Lord willing. So, I don't know why when I was mixing in the ingredients, and they tell you, of course, on the box what to mix in, the mention of water was just like invisible to me when I was originally getting the ingredients for it, but, then I noticed, hey, this was a little too thick, so that's when I realized, hey, I should add it to water. So I poured water in 1 cup and just been kind of basically trying to manually stir it in and smooth this mix out. And so I'm just praying this works out, but I think it may. So, I almost was going to declare this video a fail for you. However, I think this is going to turn out well anyway, so I may as well keep the camera running. so that you see how it turns out, because I think it's going to be an A-OK finish in the end. So I'm just going to continue mixing this for a moment. I'm just letting the clock run on the cooker. I'll turn it back to 45 minutes in a moment, but it was only in there maybe 2 minutes before I noticed and pulled it out. So just going to mix this up and then we'll get it on in. Alright, so I think I've got things pretty much smoothed out well enough to put this in, but just wanted to mention, you know, usually if I'm doing a video and I declare it a fail, basically that means that you never see it. There are videos that are fails that you've never seen and you're, you know, probably never gonna see because things didn't go right and it didn't work out, or maybe I did something wrong and couldn't salvage it or whatever. But this one, this was a near fail. It was nearly a failure. It was almost on that failed chopping block. But I think we'll be able to salvage this one and go ahead and show it to you for your viewing pleasure so that you can see it all. So I think we're smooth enough now, just about smooth enough. After some continual manual mixing here, it still looks like a few little clumps and lumps in there. I'm just trying to, you know, hope that they kind of come out. I could have probably tried to throw a rubber whisk in here and try and see if I could whisk them out a little bit, or put it back in a bowl and try and blend it again, but I think we're going to be okay with things like this. I think it'll go pretty well. So just going to go ahead and get that out of there, and going to pause, turn back to my full 45 minutes one more time, put it on in, and going to go ahead and hit start and let it cook. I'll bring you back. Just giving you a quick look inside, close up. It's been in there for maybe 7 minutes and it's cooking away. This looks like it's starting to cook. You see it's kind of bending in on the, you know, on the insides of the Bundt pan, and on the sides it's kind of starting to cook. So it's coming along and I think we'll be okay. I'll bring you back later. Alright, so this has been going for 35 minutes now. It looks like the top's starting to get cooked pretty good, and so I'm thinking it may be done by now after just 35 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and hit pause here with 10 minutes left, and I'm going to try and make sure I don't burn myself. Then just check it with a knife, slide it down in there, and it's coming out clean. The knife comes out clean, so I believe we're done. So let me get my other pot holder here and try and safely get it out. Just gonna set it right there and gonna cancel to turn this off. Let it sit right there like that. Gonna give it some time to cool. I'll bring you back in a bit. Alright, the cake's been setting, cooling for 10 minutes, and after 10 minutes you're supposed to get it out of the pan. I don't know what happens if you leave it in for longer than 10 minutes. Maybe it'll just like fuse to the pan. I doubt it. I mean, I've left things in pans longer, but since they recommend it removing after 10 minutes, there it is, removed from the Bundt pan. And so, you know, it's totally done. Still piping hot, still kind of smoking there a little bit. But gonna let it just set until it's completely cool, and then we'll get it iced up. Alright, so I've given it like an hour just to set and cool, and now it's fully cooled off, and I've got some cream cheese frosting here in the pastry bag. Makes it real easy to apply, so I'm going to go ahead and get it out. Alright, so I've got the pastry bag out, and what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to kind of like twist and tie the top to kind of lock it in there, and then you're supposed to take the plastic right off its tip here. They make it real easy. Just to rip the plastic off, so I'm gonna just have to use 2 hands to rip this plastic off of here. So now I'm just going to go ahead and frost up the cake. So just going to frost it. They put a tip on there that gives a nice little design to the frosting that's coming out. So there it is. I'm gonna go ahead and finish frosting, icing this whole cake up. And as you see, I'm frosting. You know, I always say I'm not the kid who got the A's in art class, so I'm sure your designs and use of the frosting will be much more pretty and decorative than my own. So I'm just kind of spreading it all out and doing my own thing here. Alright, so those are some of my little crazy designs and touches there on the Bundt cake, but you know, for me it's about does it taste good, not about the aesthetics so much. So let's go ahead and try and cut this. Alright, so I've got a cutter here and got myself a bowl to put my slice in, so I'm going to do my cutting and plating now. Very moist, super moist. Just going to get myself a even size slice here. We'll get that one out. There we go. You can see the side of that. Looks very nice. Came out very nicely cooked. Let me show you a closer view. So let's turn things around and get the taste testing. Alright, so this is one of those taste tests where I didn't realize that I didn't have the camera running when I did the first taste. So you'll basically be getting the second taste in this actually recorded taste test. So I'm going to go ahead and get a piece off the cake here. It's kind of breaking on me. It's kind of, you know, kind of light and fluffy, breaking up. But we've got some, so let's taste. Okay, now that I've done 2 taste tests, I can tell you that it is light and fluffy and it tastes good. So it turned out well, baked up just fine, and baked up faster than it would in a conventional oven. And since these types of countertop cookers use less energy than conventional ovens anyway, it cooking up faster and inherently using less energy to begin with, you basically over time you save on your power bills. You don't heat up your whole kitchen. And you know, you get a nice result, And you can always find other recipes and heating instructions for air fryers, toaster ovens and such on my blog at superwaveovenrecipes.com. You can always come to this YouTube channel by going to waveovenrecipes.com. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at waveovenrecipes. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share the video with a friend, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and good eating.